Story number 1. When I was about 20, I went to visit some family in Pennsylvania. I live in South Carolina, so it was a pretty long trip. Anyway, I left later in the afternoon. That night I was very tired and I had been driving for a few hours. I stopped somewhere near Upper North Carolina, Lower Virginia, somewhere near the border. Anyways, I see a sign for hotel and pull off and figure I'll just go the rest of the way tomorrow. I check in and go to sleep right away. I fell asleep in minutes. Fast forward about 3 hours later to 2 a.m. I woke up to the sound of loud creaking from the bathroom next to the bed. It was a small room, and you could hear this easily. Anyway, I get up and, not thinking, ask who's there. The creaking stopped, which indicated that someone was indeed in there. At first I thought it was just something putting pressure on a loose board, but now I thought it was a person. Suddenly the reality washed over me, and I realized what was happening. I tried to calm down and think rationally. What if it was just a cleaning man or woman or something? That doesn't explain why they didn't answer, and also why are they in my room at 2 a.m.? I slowly sneak over to the bathroom, hesitating with my hand over the doorknob. I just stand there for at least a minute. Then I muster up all my courage and swing open the door, but no one was there. Had my tired brain just imagined the sound? I figured I was just being paranoid. Then I heard the creepiest sound ever to me. A low, deep laugh coming from behind the bathroom door. I ran like the wind out of that room without looking back. I knew I made a racket, but I didn't even care. I didn't even think of stopping. I practically flew down the stairs and skipped several steps and almost fell like 4 times. I made it to the front desk and told the man working there about it. He called security and we went up to search the room, but no one was there. Needless to say, I didn't spend an extra minute that I needed to in that hotel. I packed up and left and stopped at another hotel several towns down. Part of me thinks my brain just imagined it, but it felt so real. Another part of me thinks it was paranormal. I don't know, and I don't believe in that stuff. One thing is for sure, though. I will never know what happened that night, but that doesn't really matter to me. Story number 2. I used to work as one of those desk people you see at hotels. I live in a small town in Florida. There are a lot of hotels around, but I work at a small one trying to compete for local business. Anyway, one day I was reading a magazine when I heard someone coming. I froze my boss and rushed to put the magazine away. He wants us to be on duty all the time. Except, it was not my boss. It was just some guy, I say early 20s, walking up to me. I asked how I could be a help to him, and he asked where a young woman was staying. I won't say her name, but the guy gave me her full name. I looked at the room chart and she was in one of them, and I gave him the room number. He thanked me, and I asked why he was going to see her, and he said that they were planning a trip and they wanted to meet up. I didn't think much of it, as this happens all the time at our hotel. The guy left and I just stayed there. After about a slow half hour, my shift is finally over and I prepare to leave when I hear loud shrieking. I hear loud footsteps and more people yelling along with crying in the background. I ran upstairs to check it out but was held back by security. Police arrived about 10 minutes later and the whole thing became a mess. Apparently, the man I let in broke into the woman I talked about earlier's apartment and stabbed her. Also, the guy was this woman's ex-husband and they divorced after the husband abused her. I felt awful for letting that guy know where she was, and it made me feel guilty. The guy was arrested, of course, and charged. The woman who was stabbed sadly did not make it and died a few days later in the hospital, making it even worse for me knowing that I played a part in her death. I was asked questions and then let go by police after I answered everything to the best of my ability. I still feel bad about this. Honestly, looking back and writing about this incident still gives me the creeps. Story number 3. I was only 7 years old when this story took place. I was with my mom, dad, grandpa, brother, and sister. We were off to see my grandpa's cousin who wasn't feeling well. I remember we stopped at a hotel along the way. We got a room almost right away as the hotel was pretty empty. It was about noon when we stopped. We wanted to get good rest as my grandpa's cousin lives far away and we wanted to get good energy for the travel. Anyway, the hotel had a pool and my mom, sister, and I went to swim in it. We were there for about 3 hours and then my mom said it was time to go back to our room. We were going back when I got hungry. I told my mom she wanted me to wait till we get to the room, but I wanted a snack from the vending machine. My mom decided to let me and my sister get one snack of our liking, so we did. After I got mine, an older woman I never saw before walked up and said she had better snacks than the vending machine in her room. Being that I was only 7 and my sister was 8, we agreed happily, thinking we were actually going to get snacks. We were so young and naive, and I feel stupid, and I wish I could change time and stop kicking myself for this. People tell stories like this, but it's bad to think how vulnerable we were as a kid. Anyways, this lady takes us to a section of the hotel I've never seen. She takes us to her room, where there are 2 men sitting on the couch. I also noticed a head peering from behind a door. I could tell I didn't want to be seen, but he was doing a bad job. The sight made me uncomfortable even as a kid. It felt just wrong. The lady said that we should wait there for the candy. She went to the back of the room and I heard a door shut. She took forever to get back. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, eventually 15. At this point, even to my young self, it was pretty obvious that the candy thing was a lie, but I kept telling myself that we would get some. One of the men got up and seemingly walked around, eyeing us up and down. Then I heard the laugh of the old woman. This was our cue to run. We booked it out of there, and one of the men chased us down. Luckily, there was a security guard on duty who saw the man and ordered him to stop. Police were called, and the whole situation turned into a crime scene. 2 men, women, and another man who I assumed to be the one peering his head were arrested. My parents almost never let me out of their sight in public, which I'm happy for. My dad told me later, when I was much older, that the police had found several illegal drugs around the room. I knew it smelled funny in there, and my older mind assumed it. I personally am just happy those people are either behind bars or getting the help that they need.